the government of India for the first time had introduced the Indian Exim policy on April 1992 in order to bring stability and continuity in the export-import policy, and this was for duration of 5 years. However, the central government reserved the rights in the public interest, and they had also tried to amend these trade policies, and even they had given the powers which were mentioned, which were listed out in the section 5 of this act. They had even published, even notified all these changes, all these amendments in official gazettes of India, also. Now, if we talk about Exim policy of 1997 and 1997 to 2002, the new export-import policy was needed for the smooth functioning of India's export-import trade. Hence, the government of India had introduced a new Exim policy for the year from 1997 to 2002. The policy had further simplified the procedure and even reduced the interference between the exporters and the Director General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT. By reducing the number of documents required for the exports by half, and actually the procedure was too long and too complicated, so they had tried to minimize the licensing documentations. Import had been further liberalized, and the better efforts have made to promote India's exports even in not only in national market, but they had also tried to increase in the international market also. Now, if we talk about the Exim policy of 1997 to 2002's objective, basically its first objective was to decrease the low level of economic activities to high level of economic activities, and by focusing on the global oriented vibrant economy, and to even maximize the global market opportunities also. The other objective of this 97 to 2002 policy was to motivate sustainable economic growth by providing access to the essential raw materials, even the intermediaries and the consumable and capital goods were required for the argument productions. They had also tried to improve the technological strength and efficiency of Indian agriculture and industry and service also, thereby for improving the more competitiveness, for improving the competitiveness level, competitions in the market also. They had also tried to create new employment opportunities, and even they had tried to encourage international standards. They had tried to. We will say that they had also tried to achieve new international standards of quality. Also, they had even tried to provide good quality products at reasonable price to the customers also. Now, if we talk about some of the highlights of Exim policy 1997 to 2000, they had also tried. They had listed about the period of Exim policy. They had stated about liberalization, import liberalization. Even they had stated about export promotion capital goods scheme. Even they had stated the advance license scheme and the duty entitlement passbook scheme also. If we talk about the period for Exim policy, the policy is valid for 5 years instead of 3 years. We had already discussed that they had increased the limit from policy amendment from 3 years to 5 years in the case of policy. and it is effective from April 1997 to 31st March 2002. Now if we talk about liberalization, a very important feature of the policy is liberalization. It had a sustainably eliminating licensing, even the quantitative restrictions and other regulations, and even discriminatory controls. Actually, all goods except those coming under the negative list may be freely imported and exported in India. Now, if we talk about import liberalization, some 542 items from the restricted list. Only 150 items have been transferred to a special import license, that is SIL list, and the remaining 392 items have been transferred to open general license, that was under OGL list. Now, if we talk about imports promotion capital goods scheme, the duty on the imported capital goods under the EPGC scheme had reduced from 15% to 10%. Under the zero duty EPCG scheme, the threshold limit had been reduced from rupees 20 crores to rupees 5 crores for the agriculture and allied sectors. Now, if we talk about advanced license system, under this, the period for export obligation had extended from 12 months to 18 months, and even a further extension for 6 months can be given on the payment of 1% on the value unfilled exports. Now, next, if we talk about the duty entitlement passbook scheme, that is DEPB scheme, under this scheme, an exporter may apply for credit as a specified percentage of FOB value of exports when made freely under this system. And the credit utilization for imports of raw materials, intermediary components, parts, packaging materials, etc., were also being purposely be reduced. Now, if we talk about some of the grants of this policy of 1997 to 2002, they had proposed with the aim to form a framework for globalization of Indian economy. This evident was very first objective of the policy. We had already earlier also discussed that it had a focus to accelerate the economy from low level of economic activity to a high level of economic activity by making it a globally oriented vibrant economy. And even they had tried to diverse maximum benefit from expanding global market opportunities also. We can see that not only the Indian market, but they had also tried to focus on global market also. Now, if we talk about the impact on Indian industries, if we talk about the EXIM policy of 1997 to 2002, a series of reform measures have been introduced in order to give boost to India's industrial growth and generation employment opportunities, and even they had also tried to develop the non-agriculture sectors also. These had included the reduction of duty from 15% to 10% under EPGC scheme that had enabled Indian firms to import capital goods, and is an important step in improving the quality and productivity of Indian economic industries. If we talk about impact on agriculture, this 1997 to 2002 policy had tried to give boost to agriculture sector also. They had included provisions of additional SIL of 1% of exports to agro products, allowing EOU and units in EPZs in agriculture sector to 50% of their output in the domestic traffic areas also. Now, if we talk about the impact of 2000 policy on foreign investment, actually this policy of 97 to 2000 had permitted 100% foreign equity participation in the area of EOU and the units in the EPZs also. Now, if we talk about the impact on quality of upgradation, they had entitled to exporters holding IOS 9000 certification, and has increased from 2% to 5% of FPO value of exports, which had encouraged the Indian industries, and had also taken research and development programs upgrades too. Now, if we talk about some of the views of our next policy, that was the policy of 2002 to 2009. Actually, if we talk about the main elements of this policy was a preamble, legal framework had been also. If we talk about the preamble now, it was given in the speech by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry on 31st August 2004. And if we talk about this, the legal framework of EXIM policy, the preamble of out of the board framework had an integral part of the foreign trade policy also. Now, if we talk about the central government had reserved the right in public sector to make any amendments in the policy in the exercise of powers conferred by Section 5 of the Act. Such amendment had also meant and were viewed in the notification in the official publications of the government. Now, if we talk about some more views of this 2004 to 2009 policy, they had in this actually they had advised government on policy measures for preparations and implementation of both short-term and long-term plans for increasing the exports in the light of emerging national and international economic scenario also. Even they had review export performance by various sector by identifying various concerns, and they had suggested some specific measures to optimize the export earnings also. Even they had examined the existing institutional framework of imports and exports, and had suggested some practical measures for further stimulating to achieve the desirable objectives also. We can see that these committee had regularly tried to amend and regularly tried to revise these all the sections or all the provisions, so that the more eco-friendly, the more economic friendly industrial organizations, industrial atmosphere can be set not only in India, and they can even avail for the global market also. Even the export-import policy had related to general provisions that were in the in the chapter 2 of the Act also. Even not only this, they had also specified the prohibition list also, which were applied to all the industries specified in the Schedule 2. Now, if we talk about some general measures of 2004-2009 policy, the government of India had several had set up a body of experts which had regularly tried to advise and which had regularly tried to acquaint and investigate the local market, and even the impact of they had also tried to revise the impact of those policy on not only in importers and exporters also, but also on the customers also, and also on the general public and even the agriculture sector too. Now they had also, next if we talk about the promotional measures of 2004-2009 policy, they had tried to focus on exercise duty reforms, even some drawbacks were also there. Even they had tried to entitle passbooks in short DFE rates, and try to focus more on the freight investigate bureaus, and even they had formed export import banks, inspection councils where some arbitration machineries and even arbitration was also being set up. Even they had formed a Director General of Shipping. They had set up investigation bureau also. All this was being formed so that they can have a easy import export policies, and which are favorable not only to the industries but also to the general market and also to the public. Now if we talk about some general provisions, actually some general provisions of Exim policy of the rules were also that some special economic zone were also being set up under the laws which had liberal the country, and even they had tried to specially try to focus on the duty free activities, so that the purpose of trade operation duties and tariff can be even minimized. They had also tried to have focus on free trade and warehousing economy, which had lead to a role in achieving the global standard warehousing facilities as a free trade zone. Now they had also tried to not only control the import export, but also they had tried to create more jobs, and even they had tried to increase the capital goods in the market. They had also tried to increase the job opportunities also. The next, they had also tried that the concurrent list, even to regularly amend the concurrent list and even provide concessions on the listed items. If we talk about the EOU scheme, they had also export obligations, and they had also